Moving on, the Haryana government has ordered a probe into the missing papers regarding the Robert Vadra DLF land deals in Haryana. 2 pages with notings on the previous Haryana government's decision to constitute an official committee to probe the Vadra DLF deal are missing. This report later cleared Robert Vadra, who is the son-in-law of Congress President Sonia Gandhi, and builder DLF of any wrongdoing in the Gurgaon land deal. IAS officer Ashok Khemka had filed an RTI petition in June to ascertain how the official committee was constituted. The State Public Information Officer replied that pages number 1 and 2 of the noting of the official file could not be traced. The probe was ordered by the previous Congress government, with a 3-member committee being constituted in October of 2012. It comprised 3 IAS officers. And now we have whistleblower IAS officer Ashok Khemka joining us live. Sir, first of all, let me just get the basics from you. You filed this RTI petition back in June. So let's try and understand when was it exactly that you actually got a copy of the particular file to the certain officers, remember, that you were telling us were not authorized to access it?
I couldn't hear you properly. Can you repeat your question?
Sir, if you can hear me, when did you get the copy of this particular file through the RTI? We understand you put in the petition in June.
Yes. See, I put in a petition in June asking the queries of certain questions in order to reply to the charge sheet, and these were available on the main charge sheet file.
Okay.
Now, certain copies were given, but the answers to 5 particular queries were not answered. One of them was the constitution of the committee, how the members were selected, the reasons for constituting the committee, and the terms of reference of the inquiry for the committee. This particular query was not answered, so first it was denied access. Then I asked an RTI to supply the information. They simply did not supply the information, so it was total silence. I filed an appeal, there was total silence. So I went to the State Information Commissioner. He passed an order on 28th November. Since it is not denied under any one of the provisions contained in Section 8, so the information be supplied to me. It was specifically ordered on 28th November to supply the information by 17th December. Now on 17th December, the date of hearing, the State Public Information Officer comes up with an affidavit, a signed affidavit stating that these noting pages concerning answers to these queries are missing. Not missing, they are detached from the main file. He doesn't claim it is missing, and he says that the information cannot be supplied at this point. Now this is a totally unacceptable answer. So I told as such to the State Information Commissioner, who gave him another opportunity to come out with those pages and supply the page to me. I then went to the Chief Secretary and I said that detachment of files from the main file, the notings from the main file, is totally illegal and unauthorized. It cannot be permitted.
So you also have
if
made...
these are missing, a probe be ordered into the same.
Absolutely. Sir, you also made another, I understand there was one more allegation that you've made, was that the RTI, as you mentioned, clearly shows that these files went to officers who were not authorized to check it and who also made a comment on it which is beyond their rights. If you can actually shed light on that for us, please.
Yes. See, the file shows that certain officers in the then Chief Minister's office were given access to the file and they recorded observations on behalf of the Chief Minister. Now these are statutory proceedings. Any orders therein of the competent authority has to be recorded by the competent authority itself, and this is so observed also by the Honorable Supreme Court in the TSR Subramaniam case also. But these officers in the Chief Minister's office who were not authorized were given access to these files, and not 4 officers were given access to these files at different points of time, and they recorded the desires and orders of the then Honorable Chief Minister on the file. So any Tom, Dick and Harry in the Chief Minister's office would claim access to the file, would be given access to the file, and he would record anything on behalf of the Chief Minister on the file, and strangely these would get executed. Now, my simple point is, officers who were not authorized were given access. This may give a link to the detachment of these critical links, because these would enable scrutiny of the wrongdoings. That is what is being tended to be avoided, that the scrutiny of their wrongdoings be covered up. It is a cover-up operation.
So when you say that you have asked for a criminal investigation into the case, it is on these pages that you are alleging are not missing but have been detached, and also the bit about the file going to the officers who are not authorized to check it. Are these both your charges, sir?
Exactly. In this particular instance, my petition to the Chief Secretary cites two issues. Number one, it requests that, sir, kindly provide the relevant documents if they are available. If they are not available, say they are not available, so that I can go ahead and file a reply to the charge sheet without wasting further time. And I am prejudiced, all my rights in the service rules are withheld because of the charge sheet. My promotions, my trainings, my any benefit under the service is stopped simply because I am a charge sheeted officer. So I am prejudiced. If you don't give me records and I am unable to file a reply, please understand I am prejudiced. The second issue I say is that why the detachment happened, under whose orders. So let there be a criminal probe, and you will find that the files are very much in somebody's illegal custody, and they would come out miraculously. And number three, I say, please probe that how come officers in the Chief Minister's office, they behave as a law unto themselves. And they should be put to probe that under what authority they called for files from the political and services branch of the Chief Secretary's office and passed orders on them. Now, they are simply bystanders, or they are simply nobody to pass orders on those files of the political and services branch of the Chief Secretary's office. This is simply out of place. They have to be authorized to brief the Chief Minister on those files, take his orders and communicate the orders of the Chief Minister on the file. Simply anybody cannot emerge and start jotting down CM's orders and desires on the files. This is not the accepted practice, and neither these are instructions.
Okay, now we understand that the report on this, as per PK Gupta, said that an inquiry has been launched into this issue, and the report will be out in the next 10 days. So you have said that these noting sheets are likely to have been stolen or detached, as you have been mentioning, by vested interest to avoid the scrutiny of the wrongdoings of some of the officers. So who is it specifically that you're talking about when you say these vested interests, sir?
No, I won't like to name them in your channel.
Okay.
I would like not to name people in person in your channel.
Ashok Khemka, whistleblower and former IAS officer, thank you so much for speaking with Headlines today. Remember, this is the affidavit this is the petition in the Robert Vadra case that he reacted strongly to the missing notings in this official letter addressed to the Haryana Chief Secretary, where Khemka has sought an FIR against all persons in the Chief Minister's office to whom the Vadra DLF probe file was illegally sent. Ashok Khemka on Headlines today claiming that these notings were crucial since they can actually establish the probe panel that was illegally constituted by the then political executive.